Who? Hilda. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to share my screen. One sec. A lot of things on my screen. Please ignore this. Hopefully, I'm assuming you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so before we go, I wanted to first thank Lamia for giving me this opportunity. Uh, this is honestly not my topic at all. I don't do CVs. I don't do any career success. Zero. This is not my research. But these are some things I've learned over nearly 20 years of working with people from all over the world. And then I thought maybe I should share this with other researchers, especially education folks. But this can also be scaled to general public. And so I thought, why not put it together? Lamia made an amazing logo. I can't stop looking at this coffee. But this is essentially this presentation is a part of this Cafe Without Borders speaker series. You can call it that. I've attended a couple in the past, and a really great talent that you bring to this forum, and a lot of researchers from all around the world are interested in this. And again, Lamia, thank you for making me look cool. I see some Egyptian symbols. I don't know. Maybe some emoji. Okay. So, quick agenda. I planned this for 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, because I want you guys to talk to me. We can chat more and see what questions do you have, what can be done individually, if time permits. Quickly going through what are the things that are coming up. We will do this in detail now. Quick bio about myself. I and Lamia are in UMass Amherst. We are both researchers there. I'm a PhD candidate. I develop technologies that children all over the world use to learn some topic: programming, mathematics, computational thinking, stuff like that. These are really tough topics to teach. So we create softwares using which kids can um, play games and learn a specific topic. So I make those some other things that I you can see here. The I develop variable learning, and I work in this advanced learning technologies lab. Um, okay, so mastering traditional and digital CVs. Okay, what is a CV? You might have already clearly this is a really elementary CV. When somebody says CV, you know what a CV is. It's a resume. You all have this. Some people call it bio data. You need this to get a job because the recruiter needs it. Um, you all have it in one capacity or the other, one page, two page, 30 page. Some people have books about their resumes. Um, here, I don't want to go into the depths of it, but I just wanted to show you how I'm using multimedia to make this more meaningful when somebody sees your CV. Uh, before we even start, I think we should totally talk about PLNs. Um, I would like some participation from our audience. Anyone knows what is this PLN? What exactly are we talking about? Anybody knows this? Anything about PLNs? I'm assuming you all know this, but you're still trying to keep quiet. No problem. So PLNs is nothing but like a
Sorry,
professional. Oh, can you hear me? Okay.
let me guess. Does the N stand for anything related to networks or
It
no?
is.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
guessing.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
professional learning networks. Some call it professional learning communities. PLC, PLN, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. I wanted to show this because I think the reason why you need to create a resume is is a consequence of a professional learning network. Not only because you need a job, but also because you want to connect to a broader community of your field. And that is what we are trying to explain. I found this photo on Unsplash. I thought this is trying to communicate the structure of what we are trying to do. But I want to introduce this before we go in, and this will give us more significance as to why we are doing this. So, professional learning networks are nothing but networks of people like you, me, this group right now, who are trying to share and collaborate on something they know, or they're trying to establish or share knowledge. This is a knowledge transfer mechanism where I'm sharing some practices with you and some research with you, or I'm attending this and then I am being fed this research, something like that. This is coming from Tori Trust, who is a faculty at UMass Amherst. Some visual I found on the internet, but basically PLNs are in a broader umbrella. You you share knowledge, you collaborate, you do professional development. PD is professional development. It also helps you build a support network, and also share your research to a global audience. You do this already with your resume. It's already there in one way or the other. You may not necessarily have a support system, but there are people who do include that in their resumes. But essentially, the PLNs are nothing but it's a vehicle to sharing your ideas, your thoughts about how something is happening, and how are you trying to utilize that. Like, if you have a problem with your PhD dissertation, maybe you can go to Twitter, hashtag #EdTechChat. You can just post your question there, and everybody who follows that hashtag can respond to you. You see, so that's one way to professional growth and to learn, and also to provide support from, and also receive support from your mentors, advisors, peers. At the end of the day, this professional learning network is like a convergence of all this knowledge, collective knowledge of that community. Allows you, me, all educators to connect and work together without any barriers, like what our Cafe Without Borders is doing, right? This is a photo I found on the internet, basically shows a professional learning network. Let's start from here. Shared practice, which creates a collective intelligence. I'm sharing something, and you are now also collectively a part of this, which becomes a knowledge that you're going to hold. After this is done, you have more knowledge. And with each, you come together, you make this big network, one person becoming more. That is a professional learning network. This is what it's a foundation of this slideshow. So there are many ways of doing the slideshow. But before we go there, there is some work I just want to show you. This woman, Professor Tori Trust, she's a university professor at UMass, also my advisor. Amazing instructor she is. I learned about this professional learning networks and resume making using digital media to develop your profile from her. She is also really highly cited. You can see her citations, 14,000. Speaks highly of her scholarship. Um, she is like the founding member of this concept of professional learning networks. She is highly, she's written so many things on PLNs. Her work focuses on you as an individual building your own professional network. Yeah, I think that is what makes you more meaningful, makes your research more meaningful in your field. Um, and she has hosted many workshops, out of which, after attending which, I have made the slides here, and she has worked on many case studies to show that there is a lot of things to learn from creating your own professional learning networks. At the end of the day, we are all encouraging each other to do this, right? But one main thing of a professional learning network is to use digital tools to communicate your work, your research. You should be able to easily communicate to an expert like me or like a novice like somebody else. If you want to explain something to a general public, you should have like a content that is pleasing to them, you see. And then so she says that you can use tools, Yahoo, social media, web, blogging, whatever you have, you can use this to make that. So CVs are a part of this. I'm trying to close this off now. So essentially, you need to build your own professional learning network. And as a part of that, we are going to build our resumes, CVs, multimedia, add more multimedia to these. Um, Tori Trust, Dr. Trust says that you can use any platform. We and 2024 have so many platforms out there.
Dimmi, amore.
Right. There's so many
Okay.
platforms out there.
Arrivo.
I'm continuing. And using these platforms, it can be YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. You are just participating in a conversation, and you can do that to seek input from somebody or give input to somebody or just observe, whatever that is. But at the end of the day, you are essentially using this to grow. You see, you are reflecting on something and then you're growing from it. All this is from her paper from 2012. So now comes the traditional CVs. Somebody tell me, what is this traditional CV? What do you mean when somebody says traditional CV? Anybody knows this? Please tell me.
Eccomi. Devi toglierti gli occhiali però per mettere bene, per mettere meglio.
Mustafa, tell me.
Yeah, I think any CV that made on Word file or PDF, the blank one filled with sections in normal colors, normal fonts, normal formatting like Times Roman. You start with your name, your connection, your contacts, and then moving into your experience, qualifications, blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Really. So that is exactly what we do in traditional CVs. These are the ones that are accepted in when you go to like a job or when you come to a university. You give this to them and then they see, okay, so this is their profile. They go through it and then they select you or make a decision, whatever that is. But what are some key elements? Mustafa just told me that 10 things to include. We all know this in one capacity or the other. It's not necessary that you should include everything that's here because your field might be slightly different and it may not be relevant to your work. But some things I include in my work is basically, of course, personal information, who are you, what are your email, social accounts, and education. Highest to lowest is the preferred for education. Your work experience, of course. If you're teaching, give me that teaching appointments. If you are in like some sort of a undergrad, or if you are like in a master student, or if you are in a research lab, at all points you are working on some research, you're learning something. So that itself is research. It's all about that. Also, you can write that if you have any publications, conferences, or anything.
عندنا Zoom meeting.
You can present those also in your resume. And of course, at the end of the day, for example, Lamia might include Cafe Without Borders as a professional affiliation because she has founded this, she's running this. And at the end of the day, you can also include some honors, awards, grants you have received, certificates, stuff like that, skills. Of course, some there is a it's slightly gray area. Some say I don't want to show skills on my resume. Some say I want to, and some want to see it's on the top. We know it can be anywhere, doesn't really matter. And of course, references. If you have any references of your own publications, you can show them also. We know this. This is not new. There is nothing new here. Most of us know this already, right? And this looks like this. I'm going there. What you're seeing right now is my own resume. It's a Google Doc, like what Mustafa said, Word doc or anything. And clearly, I just want you to see very generally, it's very text. It's text. It's raw text. It's very text heavy, as you can see. It's very text, right? And there are some numbers here and there. But this is the difference. This is exactly what I'm trying to come to as a part of our professional learning networks. One is the traditional CV, which is more scholarly in nature, whereas the digital CVs are also the same, but they are more representative of your work in the context that there is more multimedia, there is more videos, there is more photos, and you're not going to take that to a job. No, no, no. This is only as your professional portfolio. And I want to cover that today. So basically, traditional CVs are really highly scholarly. You write very professional English using AI or using templates. There are many things. And there is very less multimedia. You cannot include a photo of your award recipient on your resume. It's not accepted, right? And it's also really text heavy. It's meant like that. Whereas digital CVs are essentially the same, but a lot of multimedia. Both are on digital platforms. That's not the context. I'm talking about the material, the content itself. So basically, digital CVs are, they're not necessarily for job interviews, uh, and can be available in any format. I'll come there. I'll show you my personal examples, including blogs and websites. And then they're very multimodal in nature. Multimodal meaning text and something else. I don't only want to stick with text. I need text plus images, text plus GIFs, text plus videos, YouTube, music, anything. That is what a digital CV is. You are all already doing this. It's only that you have not thought about it in a way that, oh, I think I can really do that. It's going to give you some sparks when you see what I'm going to show. When I show you this um, little clip that I made just last night, you might think this is some bacteria. It's like a little bacteria just clubbing together, becoming multicellular, whatever that biological model is. But when I showed you this, and when I show you on the left side my real traditional CV, there is like a full black and white text. And then on the right side, there's this animation. Everybody's intrigued. Everybody wants to know, what is that? And so this is one way you can create multimedia. This is one example, one instance of a multimedia that I use on my digital CV to show where I'm working, what I'm working on. This is my dissertation. This is my PhD dissertation as a knowledge graph. We'll show you that in some time. But so the new digital CV has less text and more multimedia. That I want to understand. I want to make sure you guys understand that. Another quick example. I'm showing a little flyer of something I did with my other colleagues from UMass. I can write this. I can write all this without any photos or faces or the logos or the URLs, and it can still be in a resume. But if I show you like a multimedia format, like what Lamia created for me, the poster, you are able to effectively communicate the purpose of that event or occasion, right? This is another example that you can create multimedia using Canva or many tools and make your material more engaging on the digital side. Now, why do we do this? Why do you even have to care for this? In one way, you are actually enriching your traditional CVs to be more open, not only for jobs, but you're letting the entire world know, especially in the context of your professional learning network, that I, as Lamia, I, as we are working on this field, and these are our research topics. You're working on that. And then you can make images, videos, infographics to make it more appealing. You can create links. In my case, my digital CV is a website I've made. I'll show you. If it's a website, you can have links. On your resume, there are links, but there are a little number of links. I can have embedded videos. I can make my digital CV more storytelling, more narrative, more meaningful, more friendly than a scholarly resume. But at the end of the day, I want to show my research. We do advanced sciences at UMass, right? So I want to show this to the general public and then communicate this science in a way that people find it useful. And for people who are into internet SEO, you also have this option to make it more meaningful. People, when they search for you, Google will show you, and you can do that with uh, with a with a digital CV. May not necessarily work to that same extent with a traditional CV, because traditional CVs are essentially just PDF files staying on your computer. But if you have a real web presence, you are searchable. That's what I mean here. So my approach, just to give you some what I'm trying to do here. So what I am following here is, I forgot the name of Lamia's daughter, Nuran. Nuran. Uh, the I'm essentially trying to be a science communicator. We have a lot of science, advanced science. Only some people know this, but I want to disseminate that science through my parent, and I follow just stories advice. And for that, what I've done is I've researched a lot, and then I finally found out that, hey, the best way to do this is to create your own website. You need your own page. It need not necessarily be lamia.com. It need not be that. It can be a blog. It can be anything. You can write, publish. You can have a blog and a page. People do that. I am an example. You can have a YouTube channel. People do that also. You need not show your face. You can just talk by showing a paper on the screen. People do that. And of course, LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, also a way to show your work and share with the broader network. And of course, at the end of the day, you also mentor other people. If you all this knowledge you keep, you share through your resume in a way that people find that you're also a mentor, not just a mentee, right? So now that you saw this, I want to show you each one of these to a little bit extent, but I want you to make some uh, observations as to why do you need to do this? What is the purpose of this? So I have a blog. I'm not really as active, but once in a while I go here, I talk about specific things. I only talk about my field. I don't want to talk about something that I have no idea. I don't want to talk about chemistry. I'm not a fan. I'm not an expert on that at all. So in your field, whatever you're trying to do, write. You must write. This is the only way you can progress. Writing is at the foundation of modern society. You must write. And especially with AI, you don't even have to do that. But you still have to show that you wrote this on a page like this. I sometimes use AI to make some small changes here, but anything you're working on, I want that to be seen as a page somewhere. It's something that I wrote for my students. I teach at UMass, right? So I wrote for a quick outline about something, but this is an example of a digital CV. And I say that because I can now include images, which and videos that need not necessarily go on your resume, the traditional resume, but can definitely go here with memes. I cannot include that meme on a real resume, right? But I can do that here. Um, the same way, there's so much more that you can talk about, and of course, it's been going on for some time now. So this is a blog I maintain. I am only encouraging you to pursue this approach. So your modern digital CV is more multimodal, and then your PLN has been established. Another is oh, oh, hold on. Let me not refresh my slides. It's not coming up. Oh my goodness. Duplicate. Technical difficulties. Okay, one sec. Uh, okay, come back here. Okay. So this is one blog. Anyone create a blog. The If you are looking for, okay, where do I start? I use a place called Hashnode. Hashnode is a place where you can go to write blog posts. Hashnode.com. It's a really straightforward, create a free account. It's a blog platform for tech writers. That doesn't mean that you must be a tech writer. You can be anyone. I feel myself, I'm slightly technical in my approach, apparently. And so I use it there. I can't seem to open this one more time. Man, hold on. Oh, man, we are here. Okay, so that's one blog. And then uh, if you are just in an early career, if you're just getting into this and this is the first time trying to do this, I would like you to reach out to your department heads. They might have a lab, but not a website for that. They might have an alliance, a group of scientists working in a table, but there is no website for it. I did that exact same thing to these folks here, and then I made this. I am the webmaster for this International Alliance to Advance Learning in the Digital Era. This is a page, IAALDE, where it's run by top scientists from around the world. Um, uh, we as end users cannot become a member of this. However, if you are a member of a society, like for example, International Society of Learning Sciences, and you are a member of that, and you are the chair of that, you can become a part of that. I just wanted to show you this because they never had a website a couple of years ago. I reached out to them because I wanted to just share my skills. You all have skills. It's just that you may not have thought about it in this way. If you think that you are good at something, and if you see that somebody is lacking that, you go to them, you help them make the connection. That is your PLN. That is one way to expand your reach. So I want to show you here. So use your skills in a way that you are helping researchers get to the web. This is not a one-person page. This is an alliance. It's an umbrella of scientists page. You can do that also. It took me 3 days to make this. That's it. Uh, uh, no effort needed. Another, this is not really a lab. It's more like a uh, a software that we developed at UMass called wearable learning, where children play with phones. I don't know if you can see the phones, and you can see these kids are whole. They have these phones on there, but let that be whatever. But this team did not have a website previously. I went to them and then I said, "Hey, can I make you this?" And then they made me do this. I did this, and then this has ultimately become a part of my professional learning community. Everybody that comes to this site makes me feel nice because I'm contributing to the broader goals. So again, it need not necessarily be a web building sort of a skill you might have. You might have something else. You might be a chemistry researcher who knows how to do the test tubes. You can expand that, you can spread it out, but make sure you put that in a block format. I just want to see how you have come, how you made that into, how has that come to being? What photos can you include? What videos can you make? Can you record something from your lab and then just show what's happening there? That's all I'm trying to show. Because these are things that you cannot show on your traditional resume, but on any other page you can, right? Oh, uh, it's not working. Okay. Next. It, so I am not saying that I have a lot of experience with physics or anything, but you all have hobbies. At the end of the day, some people might just knit. They make little knitting dresses for little children. Some do that. And people like me, I'm just a enthusiast, physics enthusiast. What you're seeing here is the Large Hadron Collider, the ATLAS experiment in Switzerland. This is a tube. It's a really thick tube, the size of your room, typical room, and inside that there's little two yellow circles inside which two subatomic particles go in opposite directions, super fast, 99%, 99 percent the speed of light. Uh, and at one point they collide, and all that happens inside this big tube. And you might be thinking, Sai, why are you telling me about subatomic particles and what is that? I am only an enthusiast, like how you are an enthusiast of that chemistry tube I just gave you example of. You can use software to create simulations. Takes 2 minutes to do this with AI. I just made this. This is a 3D visual representation of the two circles that you can move with your mouse. I'm showing you this because there are places like this on open processing that essentially become your digital CV. This is exactly a digital CV. It's only that it's not uh, text heavy. This is more digital than what we saw there. What I'm showing here is something called a space-time fabric simulation. I have coded this using p5.js. It's a JavaScript. You can see the code when you click on this little thing on the top. If you say play, it's going to play that code, but you can see exactly how this works. But anything that you do becomes a multimodal, multimedia artifact on your on your digital CVs. The one that I want to show you is this is the code I've made. I cannot show this code on anything. It's too complex. Nobody can read this. My mom cannot even understand this. Of course, my mom is not a programmer. But if I show her this and I'm doing that, and she might think, oh, there's a person with two eyes, but at least I have some understanding of this. I know it's not a person with two eyes, but I know the two spinning cylinders with the subatomic particles going at super fast speeds. I wanted to show you this because if you have the ability to spend time with AI, you can do stuff like this, even more wonderful stuff. And all that becomes digital CVs. You need to understand that. So just continue to create as a part of the professional learning network. You have to continue to create and share with the broader public. Another thing I want to show you here is another example of a lab where I work in. It's called the Advanced Learning Technologies Lab. Same concept. This teacher, her name is Yvonne, another professor at UMass, wanted to have a website made for her. And she said, Sai, I saw you made them a website. Can you make me one? So when you go approach people first time and then you have some skill, you want to scale it to other people, Somebody else will notice it and they'll say, I came to know you help them. Can you help me? It's a part of a PLN. It's how you approach and make this happen. And you can do stuff like this with modern technology, essentially without any technical skills. Now everything is drag and drop. Um, so this is one way of communicating science. So when somebody comes here, they know Sai made this. And I also want you guys to make your own, whatever fashion it is. So people know that not only people with your PDF traditional resumes know, but general public knows, right? And there is more I want to show, but I don't want to go in detail of this usable math platform, which is made for little children to learn math using Google Slides. This is elementary software using Google Slides. Children learn in classrooms or at home on their own, and there's math problems inside from previous um, from previous math MCAS tests in Massachusetts. Mm. And then here I'm showing a quick more multimedia that you can do at home without any effort, and people will start to pay more attention. They're more interested in your work. What you're seeing on the left is a software I use called Obsidian. I'm going to show you that. That is nothing but a note-taking app. We all take notes. If you're not, I think you should. Uh, uh, Today's to-do list, that's a note. Work with Lamia on this manuscript is a note. Each of this is a note, each dot. It's just playing it for me to show me the full picture. On the right side is another animation of Brownian motion, subaromic particles. I can show the software, but nobody's going to understand it. And so I'm showing you a visual, more multimedia. People who need to know that this is a Brownian motion already know. People who know that this is a knowledge graph already know, but first timers who you want to create a hook and then you want to attract them, you want to collaborate with them, show stuff like this. Helps a little. Um, and now at the end of the day, we are almost at the end. Now, this what I'm saying, what I'm showing here is my own site. Now, on top of all the blogs and on top of all the web portals I've created, I have my own page. Because why not? I want to aggregate that. I've seen others do it. I've learned from others, and then I've done it. And the first person I've done it from is Tori Trust, whose website is this, torytrust.com. You can go there and you can see this. But I would highly encourage you all, if you do not have a page, go to Tori Trust's page, make yours look like this. Look at the imagery. I can still just put the text. I would love text, but I need multimedia. So take just screenshots of the actual thing and then just dump it here. You can go to videos. There are many videos that you might like, or you might have created, or you found somebody else's playlist meaningful. You can add that here also. If you receive any awards, make sure you keep updating it. And now, how easy is it? No, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I have never made a website. I don't know what to do. Where do I go? This is Google Sites. It's free, and it takes 2 minutes to do this. You just create pages and dump it all in here. Design projects, presentations, awards, teaching, stuff like that. And whatever courses you're teaching or whatever courses you have taken, write that here. Watch this. I ask my students to build their own professional learning networks. And this is exactly what I'm doing right here. And so, yeah, let me come back here. So my way of doing that is through my own website. I'll have to brag about my website now. I'm using a service called Card. Looks like this card, using which you can create simple websites. They give you a template and I'm making this. Here, I show all my resume, but not text, not the traditional thing, but multimedia. I still have my resume, but that's only for jobs, that only for my professional connections. This is more public facing. When somebody sees this, they know what I'm talking about. Some photos I've added, some more links that I may not be able to add on my actual resume, and some photos of people I'm collaborating with, more stuff, and photos I don't want to show on my resume, but I can show them here. Any other accomplishments, including videos, including that. You just saw that, right? You can talk more about whatever you want. So this is one way to do that, and this site helps you do this. I'm going to the about page, research page. Here you talk more detailed, and including publications, any projects that you have, and of course this links back to my blog on the top. But I wanted to show you this because if you do not have this already, now is a good time. Summer is here. Spend time wisely. Make something. I can be your mentor and I can work on this anyway. But my approach essentially is, again, this differs from person to person. You may not like a blog. You may not like to record videos. You may not like to publish, but just pick one or two. If you have all, that's amazing. Most of you are already on LinkedIn. You can just continue that. A lot of people are already on LinkedIn. So it's like that's also like a great tool. But my approach is that I use all these to communicate science from differently for the expert population with my traditional CV, general public with this format. Because the general public sees this, they want a YouTube channel, right? Nobody wants to. My mom doesn't understand my traditional CV, has no clue what it is, but they can understand the YouTube logo, videos. Uh, Silly example, but it works. So you can use any combination of this to just make this happen. Um, Concluding, I know we are out of time, but I want to quickly tell you the purpose of this slide, this presentation, and the professional learning network. Use multimedia for your benefit. People use multimedia for funny memes. Great, use it. I'm not discouraging you. I want you to use it and make it more friendly. If you are using a blog, you can make it as much. Nobody's going to question you. You are the boss. You are the copyright owner. And start building your professional network. This is really, really important if you want to be successful in life and if you want to have a great career and peace of mind. Start building your own professional learning network. Follow what I did and adapt it to tailor it to your needs. Or just go to Tory Trust's page. You can just make that for yourself. Lifelong learning. There is a completely different field of study called lifelong learning, or 3L, which says that continue to learn. The moment you stop learning, that's the end of it. Even more relevant in the age of AI now, because you must all learn how to talk to AI. Otherwise, your jobs will be replaced by somebody who knows how to talk to AI. And at the end of the day, all these websites I've just shown you, the resumes I've shown you, this is a way for you to participate in the broader goals, broader discussion. You're sharing stuff. If you never wrote on a blog, what are you going to share? You cannot just share your traditional CV everywhere. It's really weird. You share other ways, your digital, multimodal, and multimedia rich pages on the internet, and you can follow this to make that happen. You might not have listened to any slide so far, still fine, no big deal. And if you did listen to everything, amazing. But this is one takeaway slide I want you to understand. One thing that you learn from this is use multimedia to present your work. If you're working on something, take a screenshot, dump it out there. If you're working with some researchers, take a photo, publish it on social, talk nicely about it, tag them. It's really important. Some people are too shy. That's okay. But if you slowly start working on it, it's going to work. Combine all these technologies, make your profile more meaningful. Don't just target job resumes. Also throw a take a hint at how to make this more general public. That's something I want to just show you out of this. And that's it. Thanks for attending my session. Please, yeah, please connect with me on social, but you can also reach out to me, right? We can chat a couple minutes if you want, and I am going to conclude sharing now.
Can
Let
we
me
ask
know.
questions?
Yes, Yasmin, tell me.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Yasmin, and thank you for a very interesting session. I'm from Cairo, Egypt. And I wonder, sorry that I didn't watch it from the early start of your session. And I was wondering if, I mean, it's really interesting how you're trying to combine media and the use of images, videos to promote ourselves, our ideas, to teach others as well. But regarding the CVs, I mean, the ATS system, this is what we teach students, that they need to create CVs that are ATS friendly. They could be tracked. When you are applying as a fresh student, fresh grad to an organization, usually they receive hundreds of CVs. I very much doubt that the recruiter would have enough time to look at your blog or your other videos or other, I mean, it's extremely nice. You will stand out, but I'm not sure if you will be able to reach to you, because usually they put it on the ATS and filter based on the keywords and so forth. So how can we balance between the two issues, creating a CV and a LinkedIn or a blog that would be seen by the recruiter and still be engaging and so forth? I'm not sure if you understood my message. But I feel what you have given us is more for the middle level of employees who have a lot to say to the public, rather than the fresh grads or students who are looking for an internship while being a junior student, for example. So I'm not sure. Maybe you have mentioned that at the beginning of the session. I'm not sure.
It's okay. Lamia can share the recording, but what I just showed is not a replacement to the ATS platform at all. This is a supplement to the actual PDF, which is ATF aligned. This is a way to communicate every item in your PDF, which is the ATS PDF, to expand that with some visuals. We don't want to show the world that we have only one. I want to just show the world that there is this and this. That's all. We are not trying to send to the recruiter the multimedia link. No, 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 no. They will still get the actual PDF of your resume. This is only a way for you to communicate science, and this is particularly tailored for education researchers who are in education, who are in higher education, who are essentially in PhDs, who are trying to do advanced sciences, who might want to communicate this to the general public. It's not replacing anything. So I believe I answered your question there. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I can even jump in here, Sai, and add additional information. In many cases, it happened that in the beginning, it's like kind of filtering our traditional CVs, okay, and then after that, it might happen that the recruiter find out that he might be of interest for two candidates for the position. So they start taking an additional step by searching online about these two candidates that might take this position. And based on that, this kind of additional digital version might help show more about your work and how you are there out in the cloud, showing your professional learning and your how far you can stand out. Okay, so this might be like supporting more after receiving your traditional one when searching more about you as a candidate, whether you will be of interest to this kind of employer or not. Because like you said, the AI world nowadays, we cannot shy out of it anymore. It started to be part and piece of our system, and we need to stand out in the idea of that we need to master these needed skills nowadays in our digital world. So this is kind of thought.
No, I agree. That's true. What you said is totally makes sense. I hire students in my lab. I mentor them. I'm mentoring 3 undergrad students right now. I do that. I get their resumes, 1 page resumes. I mean, how much can you fit on a 1 page? Think about it. And so if they have like a blog, they're talking about it, at least GitHub is still something. You need not necessarily have a blog. If they have a GitHub page, I can go see what their last pull requests are. I can see what projects they're working on, and it adds more to their weight. I'm just trying to add more weight to our profiles in a way that it benefits us, our professional goals. I agree what you said. That's true.
Yeah, because in many cases,
Progress.
employers are asking for 1 page resume, and this is will never reflect all of our skills, will never show how many publications that we have or the kind of experience that we have been or we had carried out throughout all of our years, over than 20 years of experience doing a lot of stuff. This is will never be reflected in 1 page. If we are asked to just submit a 1 page resume, it will never reflect that. So we need to have this kind of this kind of like additional links to show our work, like by having like what you said, exactly, by having our blogs, our maybe channels, whatever, to show as a kind of showing case to what we are doing throughout this kind of 20, 30 years of working.
Right. Yeah. So the best way to do this is to have a blog, and just talk about what you're doing. That's all. I've seen people. I mean, I can give you like an example right now. You can start a Cafe Without Borders blog where all you do is you synthesize everything that happened on that blog per speaker. And that itself is making this so much more sense, because not only when somebody searches for Lamia or myself or anything related to CVs, Google is pulling us. It's showing us there, and AI is feeding this. I mean, it's a great way to do it, and many ways of approaching this. This is my way of doing it. Everybody has their own ways, but okay, where do we stand on the time? Please tell me.
If any, like, if you all agree about, can you like show us in very brief, like steps how everyone can create their blogs by showing that how do they start searching that Google, how they can start, how they can create it, like just like in this kind of steps that can guide everyone here to start their own later on.
Yeah. I can spend a couple of minutes.
Just like
Can
steps
I-
showing people how can they do that.
Can I just ask a very quick question before we do that?
Yeah. Nuran.
So I'm kind of with Yasmin on her saying that yes, like because HR in any company does get a lot of hundreds of applicants and hundreds of traditional CVs. And I do understand that a blog would heighten your chances of maybe getting you a job, or like a hiring manager would look at your, like would express more interest in your professional career or in general in your university life, yada, yada, yada. But because every single HR gets around 100 applicants, if not more, how can you even grasp their attention to looking at
your traditional CV. So then through the traditional CV, they're going to look at your multimedia CV because, again, they receive so many different CVs. And if they receive already a lot of CVs, they're not just going to look at every single CV. They're going to instead pull it through ATS and they're going to track it down first. And if ATS does not say yes, like that it is aligning with the job description that we have put online, it's not going to even be shown to the hiring manager. So
Right.
this is also something that I've been thinking about throughout your presentation, which was amazing, is just how do you even grasp that first look from the hiring manager
Right.
so they can even look further into what you're doing online.
I think that's a really great question. This is an issue faced by many people. Um, ATS has been AI-fied now. All ATSs are now AI. So even if you tailor as much as you want, but if the recruiter wants specific keywords to be there, and if your keywords are not there, they're not going to make the cut. So this is also like it depends on the preference, like the personal preference of that individual, of the recruiter I'm talking about. So there, it's like a really gray area where something I might say might work, something I might say may not work at all. But again, I have never had any failure when I applied for like a job opportunity. I was either rejected or I was either offered the opportunity. It depends on how you also present yourself, uh, you know. So I don't know how to answer that at this point in time, but I can totally concur with you because if the recruiter is if they're mad and if they had a fight with their partner or something, they may not really look at your resume at all. There is that also happened to me. um, and there's all sorts of biases. That's something we cannot control. There's at least a way we can try. But okay, I'm going to share my screen real fast to just show you what I'm talking about here. So uh, there are many platforms to create a blog. Again, I am not asking you to create a blog. I am not really sure if my message is flowing through clearly. There are many ways of doing a professional learning network. It's not always a blog. Look at Tory Trust. This is not a blog. This is your personal site. Okay, you can treat it as however you want. So either this or nothing. Now you tell me, do you want to have this or nothing? So clearly this, right? At least something. So it need not necessarily be a blog. It can be your personal page with just some resources that you collected. That works also. You can do this on Google Sites. Um, and for that, you go to sites.google.com. It's a free thing. You most of you already know this. You just create a blank site or you choose from some templates. These are some previous ones I've created. And you can just start adding your stuff, stuff like that. This is exactly what our Tory Trust has done. And you can do that. There is, if you want to maybe create like a blog, I recommend a search engine friendly blogging service. You do all this, and then if Google is not feeding from this tool, it's not going to work. So I use something called Hashnode. I showed it earlier. Hashnode is a tech blogger where you can create blogs for free. I already have a blog. I created that here. Just go to manage. It's a free account, and then just say create a blog. At the bottom, create a team blog. If you can also collaborate with a bunch of people, write together, and just click on that. Create a name. You can have your own domain. Here I can call it cafe without borders dot hashnode.dev. That's your website after this is created. Or you can have your own domain. and start writing this. How does a blog article to be write? You just click on write on top. This comes up. I'm already working on a manuscript, little item. So that's why you're seeing this. You just go and then you just type whatever you like. You can also add imagery, add images and add images and stuff like that. Again, these are very pretty self-explanatory. Um, just like creating a WhatsApp group, it's very easy. Again, I don't want to give the wrong impression, but using a platform other than your resume, in addition to your resume, helps your profile grow. That's the purpose of this. I'm not saying you only show that to the recruiter. No, no, no. You show whatever you need to show, but you also show, you just keep this here. It's either that or nothing. You see?
In response to the question, I think shared by Norhan and Yasmin concerning the traditional CV, so it's all the time, it's kind of, we are doing effort to being accepted, okay, and there's nothing candid exactly like what you said. However, I believe that the easiest way to get this kind of like the recruiting or the recruiter attraction to your CV is trying to use in your CV the vocab used by the employer himself or herself. Like, for example, if the recruiter wanted to see the words of maybe when I see in your CV the words that you are very way forward thinking person in terms of maybe or very advanced of proficient user of technology maybe. So that means you need to adapt your CV to highly show how far you have a high tech or advanced technological advanced skills, because this is exactly what the recruiter is looking forward to seeing in your CV. So you cannot have one CV that is like,
نتكلم عن إنك كيف تسوي السي في
yeah, you cannot have just one CV
ما
to be like submitted to every job, because with every job you need to have some kind of like, or this kind of like changes to highlight the skills that you do have that are aligned with this kind of like new employment, because every one of us has a diverse skills in different fields and different disciplines, and within every application we need to highlight the needed skills for the job. And this
Yeah.
is how you will get yourself like seen by the employer.
Mm. That's true. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. I agree. I I'm not I'm not saying we should not have more than one resumes, because for every job I make three resumes.
Yeah, I myself have more than 4 or 5, because one, if I'm applying for a research position, other if it's like a teaching position, other it's, so every time I highlight the new needed skills for any job that I'm going to apply. For example, the last job that I got, I needed to highlight the supervision and communication, relational skills that I do have. So I needed to highlight that in my CV to show it that clearly, because this is what, or the kind of skills that the employer is looking forward to seeing in my CV.
Right.
But again, it's important to have a blog like exactly what you said, because maybe I'm here, I have the CV that highlighting the needed skill for certain employment, but here's my blog that's showing everything about me,
Right.
as everything in terms of how professional I, having diverse skills, diverse abilities, or whatever do I have. So this is everything that I have done throughout my years of
Right.
experience.
That's true. And one thing is, everybody I work with in UMass, my postdocs, everyone, they all have their pages, not just the resumes. They all have their pages. You have to have like an aggregate page where you just talk about what you're working on. It's really important. If you want to be famous, you have to do this. I want to be famous. So, in a nice way, it's just only to help scholars get reached and be reached uh, through all this technology we have. Again, look at this from the angle of professional learning networks. It's not just CV. There's so much more to this. You only see the top of the iceberg, but there's so much more underneath. So the professional learning network, it's a way to build your network. Tory Trust has written so much on this, so that might help. We are over 1 hour. I'm sorry that people are still waiting. I think we should let them go.
Thank you. I thank you so much. I sent you a message. If you can send us your email, if we can communicate as well through your email, you send us your LinkedIn and X account. But do you mind if you can share with us your email as well? And I was wondering, of course, after your approval and Ms. Lamia Eid's approval, do you mind if you offer another session to us, or if we can have another session to my organization? I work in higher education, and I'm sure other faculty in my university would be very much interested to attend such a very important session. So I wonder if you're willing to do another session, either for the group here, for the AUC group organized by Ms. Lamia Eid, or if we can communicate through, if you could give it to another group. I don't know how it would work.
Yeah, sure. Of course, I can collaborate with our Lamia and we can chat more. No big deal.
This is what actually I thought about, because you gave it very informative, but I think that still people are looking forward to be taken to a practicum application. To if you don't mind, for sure, Sai, because you did. Thank you for your session. It was very, very informative, and we learned a lot today. But what about having another session, taking people step by step by having their computers, their laptops, to start creating their CV under your supervision, or let's like your guidance, how they can do that step by step.
No problem. We can do that. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that would be nice, because this will be the practicum lens by having people applying that. So applying the knowledge that they gain today, doing that in practice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Great. Jermaine says that.
just raised her hand, so I thought that she's going to ask for that as well,
Right.
because she's like what she said here right now. I wanted to be taken step by step.
Right. That's true. I mean, maybe this session needs to be seen as to sensitivize.
Yeah,
people have been sensitized.
Yeah, it was actually, it's very important. It was this session was very important. Thank you so much, Sai, because you put us in the world itself, how that's seen, like the theory behind it.
Right.
Because we need to understand the theory to start when doing this kind of the writing itself and the creation of our blogs itself. We needed to understand that in the world of theory, how the world is like visualizing that.
Right.
But please let us know like enough time before the session, so we prepare our photos and everything, so we get ready to implement them just once we are there, and you're telling us put your whatever professional pictures or photos or whatever. We can do this on the spot, so it won't take us time, but we really need someone to guide us step by step into the whole process.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We can chat more on that.
Thank you.
Of course.
So,
it's time. I also have to go now, but thanks for hosting this, Lamia.
Thank you so much, Sai, for accepting giving us another session. And but before this session, I will check with you, so everyone is like excited about it from now. Okay. So let us know at first your availability to build upon that when you can do that. And for everyone, please to prepare every information or every skills that you do have, and by putting that on a piece of paper, because later on we'll start doing this kind of application immediately without wasting our time. You have the information that you're going to use to create your website, your blogs. Thank you.
Beautiful. Of course.
Hi, and communicate with us about your availability later.
No problem. Of course. I will talk to you.
Okay, thank you so much for
Of
today.
course. Take care. Have a good shukriya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Lamia.
Thank
Thank
you.
It was a perfect
Thanks.
session. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, Miss Lamia. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lamia.
Added here the link for our Facebook page if you wanted to join, because I'm going to upload today's session to our Facebook page. If anyone later on wanted to play it again and to check the information.